going. So, welcome to Mindset Mastery. My name is Suzanne Hart, and our topic tonight is finding your me only. Your me only. This is the thing that separates you from the pack. So, we're talking, there's lots of people who do what you do, probably have the same degree and work in the same profession, but how do you distinguish yourself from everyone else? Now, we hear about demographic and psychographics, and those are great. But what we're going to talk about tonight, I call it your emotional brand, your emotional energy, how people know who you are by they find out and learn a little bit about your heart, your passion, what makes you tick. We're going to talk about who those people are. So get ready. We've asked you to share. We've asked you to let us know who you are and where you're joining. So I want to tell you a little bit about Mindset Mastery. Mindset Mastery is a strategy. It's strategies actually to reset your thinking, to help you to begin to think differently. Because oftentimes it's you and I who end up getting in our own way. We're working at the intersection of personal leadership, inclusive communication, and cultural competency. I truly believe that this is leadership at its best. My commitment is to have conversations and bring strategies to you that allow you to work in passion and on purpose. All right, so that's who we are. So let me jump in and introduce the sister sitting beside me. First of all, she hails from Montreal, which is where I spent many years of my life, and it is actually one of my favorite, actually it's my favorite city in Canada. So she hails from Montreal. Now, one of the things I love about this woman is I met her when she was in her 20s, and she was already making things happen. I remember standing on the stairs and having the best, the most juicy conversation with her. And I was like, this woman is way beyond her years. But I wanted to tell you who she believes she's called to serve. Okay, first of all, she's a leadership and career coach for the millennials. But she is here to help professionals get out of their own way. That's mindset. She's also here to help you cut through the noise. So if you want to cut through the noise, this is the person for you. She also helps you bring clarity to your career and personal goals. So how many of you think that you would like to work with someone like this? Well, I'm here to introduce you to my friend, Rashida Geddes. Hello, my dear.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone out there who's watching us on live, or if you're watching the replay, hi, welcome. I'm so excited to be here. Suzanne, it's always a pleasure being able to connect with you. We always have the best conversations. So I'm excited for tonight and excited to share how I found my me in this season and seasons beyond.
You know, and I, you know, it's so true. We have I call them juicy conversations, right? They're natural and they're flowing, and they always have a significant amount of depth. So I know we're going to bring the goods tonight. So I want to start by just giving you an opportunity to let people know who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So you shared it. I'm a leadership and career coach, and really my purpose, my mission is to help millennial talent really cut through the noise, get out of their own way, and leverage their talents, their gifts in service of their career and life goals. And really that started from a very real place for me in my career. It really started out of my own challenges, and it birthed the work that I do now and the mission that I have for my business and for my clients.
You know, that is exciting. And you know, and you've been doing this for how long?
I've been doing it for 6 years. 6 years that I have been cultivating and nurturing my community and continuing to grow my brand, continuing to grow my client base. And I think more important than anything is being able to really help your clients achieve their goals, right? Achieve the value that they need in their own careers and in their own personal life. So that for me is really the prize, is being able to help my clients be able to reach that next level in their career, reach that next level in their own development. And I do that through coaching, through consulting, and also through speaking.
Wow. So, you know what? So what I want everyone to know, because I want to get everyone to get the scope of this, and also how young you were when you started your own business, because you also have a full-time job,
Absolutely.
and then you were called to do this other thing. So first of all, how did that come about?
Honestly, that the moment that it shifted in me, I would say before the shift, I was coasting. I was literally, I knew I wasn't doing the work that I was called to do. I knew I wasn't leveraging my talents or gifts in service of something bigger, bigger than the current role that I was in. But I was, sleepwalking through it. I said, well, I was reactive. I was waiting for someone to give me an opportunity, someone to give me a shot. And that shifted the moment I found out that I was with child. The moment I found out that I was going to be a mother, that timeline accelerated. I now had 9 months to get my ish together to be able to be the kind of woman, the kind of mother that I knew I could be and I wanted to be. And it required me to be true to who I was and to myself. So that finding out that I was pregnant with my daughter was a pivotal moment in terms of shifting my mindset. And that's when I really started doing the self-awareness, doing the work to understand who did I want to be? What kind of mother did I want to be? What kind of woman did I want to be? What kind of career did I want to have? And I started really seeking that through resources that online and through coaches and mentors and really building that out. And I think once I had my daughter, and giving you guys a little extra information, I had a natural birth, all natural, no epidural, no drugs, no anything. And it really was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do that. And the steps that I took around really educating myself about the process, hiring myself my own doula and coach, really ensuring that I had a supportive system in my partner, in my family that could help support me through those challenging contractions, and then trusting in myself and knowing that there are so many individuals and women that came before me that I could do this. So finding power and strength in the women that came before me. And that model is of giving birth to my daughter, gave birth to my business, gave birth to my ideas, and it gave birth to my mission. So it really started with the birth of my daughter and has continued to progress with each new season in my life.
I love that answer. Now, just to give everyone who's listening a little bit of context. So when we talk about the me only, and I say that the me only is found in the story behind what you do. It's the why you do what you do. And I love Simon Sinek because he says that people are interested in the why before they care about the what and the how. And oftentimes we don't think about the why, and the why is the story. So I love what you're saying. So for you, the pivotal change was when you found out you were pregnant. You were about to become a mom.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So and you go through these things. It's almost like you're going through this rites of passage of becoming, moving from woman to motherhood to, it's that process. So share with the audience, every business has a driving purpose, if you will. And for you, it was becoming a mother and also knowing that you were coasting. What was it about those two things that helped you kind of step into this place and do it with the passion and the fuel that you do?
For me, it was definitely knowing that I had someone that was looking at me and my daughter, another young girl that was looking at me as a model of what a woman should be and could be. And I knew that I wasn't serving myself by playing small. I wasn't serving myself by staying in my role and waiting for something to happen and waiting for someone to give me a shot or waiting for them to allow me to be able to do what I do. I had to go out there and do it myself because I had to show my daughter that you can do anything that you put your mind to. You can have a natural birth. You can build a business while working full time. You can continue to grow your reach. You can have an opportunity to touch hundreds, if not thousands, with your message, with your story, with your experiences. So for me, it really was knowing that I had someone looking at me as a model. And for me, it was also knowing that I had so much more to give. I literally was born in an environment where, you know, the likelihood of success for a lot of people coming out of, let's say, a housing projects, coming out of a single parent household, all of the statistics that could be wrapped up in my background were all things that I had experienced. So I was up against, you know, up against all of that. And I felt, and I knew that there was something in me that could challenge all of that, that could move past all of that. So I knew that I had a story to tell. I knew I had lived experiences even at that young age. And I was convinced that if I were to step into my power, that the rest would follow, that all of the other steps would present themselves as I moved in that direction. So it was just making sure that I understood what I wanted to do, have clarity in that space, but also take the steps necessary each and every single day to move me closer to what I know God is designing for me in my own life.
So what was it about your story and your, I love to call it your walk, right? That chose your clients, because we all have our divine clients. People talk about their ideal clients. I like to call them your divine clients. What was it about your story, so that everyone really begins to grasp this? Had you identify your divine client?
For me, it really was me. I was using myself and my own experiences, my own challenge as the model for what can be possible. And that meant that I can serve other people who looked like me, who also were going through similar experiences. My core client base has always been millennial women, and it continues to be millennial women because they see themselves in me, right? They may see me a few steps ahead of them and say to themselves, if she can do it, I can do it. So it's the idea that we are attracted and naturally gravitate to people who remind us of ourselves or who remind us of who we want to be. And for me, I knew that I could serve people that looked like me. I knew I could serve people that were experiencing similar things that I was experiencing and that I had gone through, and that I had walked through those fires and had made it on the other side. And I wanted to bring those other women with me.
Wow. That is amazing. And you know, what's great about what you're sharing is that I love it that one of the things that we don't look at is we get so caught up in our position and our title, and we think that's where we model. And to a certain extent we model, but how we live life and the things that we've gone through are more of what people are looking. And so I love what you said is young women that are like you are looking at you, and you are modeling for them what's available.
Absolutely. There's this one of the CEOs of a major US bank had shared this quote, and it's just stuck with me in terms of mantras. And she had mentioned, the idea that your title is rented. The job that you have, the position that you hold is rented. If COVID has not made that clear to you over the course of seeing how individuals at no matter what level they were impacted by this current situation, that your title could go away in a minute. As a result of situations that are beyond your control. So she shared, your title is rented. It doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define who you could be. Your character, your name, your personal brand, those are your assets. Those are the things that have the power to transform your life. And when you model and when you build that character, when you understand who you are and what you have to offer, then you can just use your title as a catalyst to be able to bring you closer to that. So for me,
that was money. I was like, that is money. So for everyone listening, that was like, someone needs to, they're sending you love, they're sending you hearts, they're sending you all sorts of things, because that right there is the one thing that most people don't understand. And I'm big on leadership, as everybody knows. And I say all the time, that title gives you positional leadership. It's external, right? It can be given and it can easily be taken. But when you understand that it's your character that builds your leadership, that's the place that people look to find people that they want to follow. So what you're really sharing is what built your character, and all the things that you've been through is where you found your divine client, is the people who are going through and experiencing similar things as you. Are we getting this clear?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are getting what I'm putting down. You are
I love
picking
it.
up what
I
I'm
love it.
putting down.
I love it. I love it. So let's just check out what everybody's saying. Let's see who's joined us first of all. I see we've got Cindy and Farah. Welcome. We have Joyce out there. And Joyce is hailing from Washington, D.C. Of course, we see Taria. Um, and I love it because people are going, rented indeed. Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that. That was for Farah, and there's lots of agreements in terms of what you're saying. So for everyone that's listening, one of the things that we're going to be sharing with you is our Magnetize and Monetize the Virtual Stage event. And really what we're talking about is helping you find exactly what Rashida is talking about. What is it about you? What is the story that you're going to tell that will actually help you connect with your divine client? And it goes beyond the title. I love that you said that. It goes beyond the position. It goes beyond your field. It goes beyond the career. I like to say it's like something, they call there's the thing called the dog whistle. It's like something that only a unique group of people in the world can hear because they are walking a similar walk as you. Mm-hmm. So the next thing I want to ask you is, one of the things in storytelling is the whole belief in vulnerability, right? And I truly believe that there is often something in our walk that has touched us so deeply, or an experience that has kind of marked us in a way that it becomes the passion of your business. Do you have something that has occurred in your journey that this is like you're saying, I am all over this. When I get through this, I'm going to teach the world?
I think that there are different seasons in my life that shows up, whether it shows up in my career, whether it shows up in my personal life, whether it shows up in just me personally. There's been so many different things over the course of my own, even over the course of the 6 years that I've been doing coaching, 6 to 7 years that I've been growing my business, that have I've been faced with. In terms, when I look at my career, especially, I look at so many times that the door was closed. And that was actually one of the reasons as to why I kept going forward. And my hubby would say that I took no no's for an answer. I had the door closed on me. I had people laugh at me. I had someone say, the idea of Sheryl Sandberg, lean in. I had someone say, lean out. You're a mom now. Take a back seat. Your career, wait until your kids are a little bit older, and then you can start chasing where you want to grow. And I said, no, there's no way that I am holding or putting my life on hold. Why can't we have it all? Why can't I be a mom? Why can't I work? Why can't I grow my business and travel and speak on stages and do all of these things? There is so much more benefit to my children, to my family, seeing me model the kind of person that I want to be, than me playing small and waiting for someone to give me a chance, waiting for my kids to get, older, waiting for different circumstances to happen in my life. No, the time is now. And it starts with where you are. It starts with what you have. And it starts with the corner of the world that you live in. And I think each one of us has the capacity to be able to achieve and make an impact and make a difference, if not in our own lives, in the lives of our family. And even just touching one person, connecting with one person, that has so much power. When they say, when you teach a woman, when you encourage a woman, when you empower a woman, you empower a whole community. So it's understanding the value in that, the value of your voice, the value in your lived experiences, the value in knowing that even though there are going to be hard times, that you are going to make it through, and that's going to be your testimony. That is going to be your experience, the story that you'll be able to share. So for me, every time that I felt like I was being forged in fire, every time that I felt like my back was against the wall, the mindset that I had was, this experience, when I look down the line years from now, will be just
Yeah.
that, one season in my life. And I will have an amazing story to tell about this in the book that I will write, or the podcast that I will lead, or
Right.
what I share with my clients. So I've always just used these moments of being forged in fire to really grow and strengthen and nurture my resilience and my leadership.
And this is so great, because one of the things that most people don't do and they don't reflect on is I love it, because when I speak, I say that if you feel like you're walking on hot coals and life feels really hot and you feel like you're under pressure, diamonds are made under pressure. Diamonds are made in extreme heat. And this is your moment that you're being created for what you were called to do. And this is a moment that most people quit. But if you keep moving, you are going to come out the other side stronger. And, I like to say 10 feet tall and bulletproof. But this is the other thing. What most people do is they don't tell that story. They tell the story of the degrees and the accolades and the stuff. And that's when they miss their divine person, because the divine person doesn't care about where you are. They care about what happened to you to get there that I can hang on to. Because every time you rise over something, it's like you gave me hope. You gave me hope. And that's where they see themselves. They don't see themselves in where you are. They see themselves in the journey of getting there. And in that moment, when you share that, they say, Rashida can get me there because she gets me. She understands me.
Exactly. And I we've heard this idea that around turning your mess into your message, and you and I have,
Absolutely.
you and I know of a catalyst in that space who really helped kind of hone in on her own mess and turn that into your message. So for me, it's really getting comfortable with all of the pieces and parts of me that that make me who I am, and whether or not they are positive or whether or not they are negative, they all make who I am today. And they are all valid. And the mess, like you said, is where people can see themselves. People
Absolutely.
people can see themselves in your mess. They can see the fact that you've gone through it and you've overcome it. So I can go through it and overcome it. And that gives them the opportunity to trust you. There's something there that that connects them to you in ways that just sharing the highlight reel of your life cannot do.
And this again is so good, because what you're actually saying is, I may not have years of experience in my profession, and I really want everyone to get this, right? I may not be the who's who in my profession, particularly when I'm starting out. But one of the things that you are an expert in, and this is why I say anybody can find the place where they say, I am the expert. I've put in my 10,000 hours. I've gotten my hard knocks. I've risen from this thing right here, and I can teach it. And what it is the experience that you've overcome.
Absolutely.
Right. And because there are so many people that have the experience that you overcome. And if you can teach them that while also doing what you do, what they get is this thing that's been standing in my way. She's going to help me with that because she gets it. I can talk to her about that while we're focusing on my career, while she's guiding me along the path, while she's doing the leadership, pieces. What I know is that when I share with her my story, I've already heard her story, so I know she can handle it. I know she can guide me. I know she can tell me what to do.
Absolutely.
This is so powerful. So I want to let everyone know, one of the things that I did in anticipation of this conversation, we've been leaving you guys with notes, right? So if you put notes in the comments section, I've given you a sheet that kind of summarizes some of our conversation, but more importantly, it gives you places to look to find what Rashida is talking about. So she said, it was becoming a mom. So it was when a role change that shifted things for her. It was when she hit the ceiling at work and doors were closed. And that, as painful as it was, became something that shaped her and now is part of what she brings to the table when she's talking to her clients. It is the being told to take the back seat while you raise your children, and her saying no, right? And so it's overcoming what society thinks that maybe she should be doing. And now she's got that in her toolkit, and it becomes something that she can share with her divine client. So as what I want to equip everybody with is an opportunity to create your story just like Rashida has, but using your own particular, and we know the word, your mess, the messiness, the upside down in your life, to make that happen. So if you put notes in the comments section, you will get something into your messenger feed that you can then complete, and you will get that beautiful cheat sheet, note sheet, so you can take something away for joining us today. And that's just our thank you for being here. Okay, so one of the things that I really wanted to dive in with you, because as I said, when I met you, you were probably in your mid-20s. And you had started a business, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And one of the things that I think many people struggle with, and I'm hoping that someone who's listening, they struggle with age. I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm I'm a woman, I'm a this, I'm a that. And so oftentimes someone would look at you and say, but you're so young, how do you build your credibility? How do you answer that?
I build it on the back of my experiences. I have lived experiences that go beyond age, right? I've experienced things that probably people will never experience in their life. I have gone through, my life has been forged in fire, right? If you come out, if you come out of the housing projects, if you come out of a single parent household, if you come out of poverty and are able to change and turn things around, who can tell you that you can't start a business? Like, did you hear what I just came out of? Did you hear, what my childhood looked like? Like, you're telling me that I can't start a business? No, it's for me, it was knowing that I had forged so much of my life in fire, and that experience allowed me to have the credibility. And there are going to be people that are still going to say no, and that's okay. That's not who I was called to serve. That's not my client. That's not who's attracted to me. So for me, it's understanding that not everybody is going to be for you, and you're not going to be for everybody. And that is okay. That is completely okay. There are going to be people that are going to say, well, I want someone that's more seasoned, and it's okay. I know people. I can share with you people that are more seasoned, but there are others that are going to see my walk, that are going to understand my experience, that are going to understand the confidence with which I speak, and the track record that I've had over the course of these 6 years. And are going to leverage that to be able to push themselves forward. Sometimes when you're looking at a coach, when you're looking at a mentor, you need someone to jolt life into you. You need someone that's not necessarily that's going to, that reads you on every single level, but someone that is going to inspire you, motivate you, encourage you, empower you to want to go to different levels. And sometimes it's individuals that see what you can't see, that have a different perspective than you, that may have a different insight than you do. So I think for me, credibility is in my walk, and it will continue to grow and to change and to shift as I continue to live life. But I don't let that hold me back from serving who I know God has chosen me to serve.
Okay, so everyone, someone's got to put credibility is in my walk. Okay, we're gonna make that a quote for our social media next week, and we're gonna put Rashida said, credibility is in my walk. Now, I want everyone listening to pay attention to the confidence that and the posture that Rashida you're talking with, and I really want to highlight that confidence and posture comes from the internal struggle, and it comes from when I am able to embrace the messiness of my life, and not to hide from it or hide it, but to actually be proud of the overcoming of it, that it actually becomes part of my expertise and part of my credibility, is all these things. And I think where people lose power, and you don't hear the energy and the certainty that I'm hearing in your voice, is when they're struggling and hiding from themselves. and struggling and hiding from their journey. And they're hanging on to degrees and they're hanging on to titles that are external and they don't build them up inside. And it is, it is the willingness to embrace the whole walk and the stories and the nuances in that walk and come out proud and say, yeah, I'm from the projects. Yes, I went to school on little money. I worked all the way through school. It is whatever it is. Like I tell people, the reason I can teach people how to speak is I was deathly afraid of speaking. I was humiliated when I came to Canada because I had an accent. I didn't speak for 30 some years and then found my voice. And I totally embrace that. When I teach, I tell people all the things I'm afraid of while I'm on stage. And I'll tell them, this is what's happening on stage right now. I'm afraid of this, but it hasn't stopped me. And so it was when I was able to embrace my own fears that I found my own power. And I love the way you said that. And I really want to make sure that everyone's grasping that piece, because don't you find it just frees you up?
It did. And there was, similar to you, Suzanne, there was a period of my life where I didn't want to tell any of those pieces of me. I didn't want people to know that, even as a kid, I didn't want people to drop me off in front of my apartment complex. Like I didn't want people to know where I came from. I didn't want people to define me by decisions that I had no bearing on, right? You can't choose you can't choose the color of your skin. You can't choose where you were raised. You can't choose who your parents are, right? The choices that I made were all in alignment with who I want to be, right? But I didn't want those things to define me. So part of my life, I said I wanted to keep those down. I didn't want to tell people. I didn't want to, I wanted people to just know the great parts of me. But it's when I realized that holding that piece of me back was holding me from really achieving my full potential, because you walk through life scared, right? You walk through life feeling like an imposter, feeling like there's a part of you that people don't know. There's a part of you that there's a part of you that you're hiding, right? And that is something energetically that people can feel, that people can sense. So when you free yourself from that, when you free yourself from the past by being able to articulate what it was, plain and simple what it was, and knowing that you've walked through that, and now who you are today is not indicative of where you came from. And that for me was really important. It's the idea that you can be whoever you decide you want to be, but you have to make that decision consciously. But you also have to think about where you came from, know that that is part of your experience and story, and stand confident unapologetically in that, knowing that that makes who you are today, and that part of and parcel with the experiences that you've had and how you've been able to overcome them.
This is so juicy and so important, because I remember, and I'm going to talk about distance for a moment. And this is such a key gift that you just gave everybody, because when I am hiding from myself, whether I know it or not, I'm putting distance between me and everybody I meet. And when you sit down with a client, and that hiding out, it's present in the space, and they may say, I don't know what it is about this person, but I just don't feel connected. I just don't feel they get me. And what they're experiencing is the distance of your hiding from them and from yourself. And when you take the stage, right, since we're talking about storytelling and speaking, when you take the stage with that distance and you show up in all your perfection actually is the wall between you and the client, you and the audience, because they're like, I can't feel her. There's something about her, I'm not sure what it is. But I tell people, the minute you get messy and you tell the truth about who you are, it's almost like the audience, it's like the air gets sucked out of the room and they come to you. And they're like, I feel her. And there'll be people that will say to you, I know you. You are me. And that's how they say, you're my coach. You're me. And that's the only way they find out, is when we're willing to be vulnerable enough to let our own guard down. And the secret in that is, if you're going to have a client and you're going to say, let your guard down, but I'm going to keep mine up.
Yeah.
that doesn't work. So you're going to be like, I'm going to model putting my guard down so you can feel safe putting your guard down. And that's the trick.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ah,
Couldn't agree more.
so well said. So well said. So what is where are you going from here with all this, with your story and your knowledge? Where are you going?
There's still so much more that I know that is in me that I want to create, that I want to put out into the world. But I understand that each season is going to call me to focus in on a few things, right? We have finite time in some essence to be able to do all the different things and all of the different moving pieces in our lives. So for me, I know podcasts and books and speaking on stages and continuing to touch different lives is all part of my future and is present, because your future is your present. It's the actions that you take today. So I know that that is something that I want to continue to do and I'm called to do, but I understand that each season my focus can and will be different, and being able to lean into that and continue to consistently build on the back end as your focus shifts. We know, with COVID, with the pandemic, with this moment, it has shifted people's priorities. It has shifted where they need to put their energy and where they need to put their time. And that may mean that some other pieces of your life or some of the pieces of the things that you want to create may take a back seat. But it's always understanding that if you work towards that, even just a little bit, each and every single day, you won't lose sight of that. Right? You won't lose sight of it as long as you're continuing to move forward and continuing to put one foot in front of the other. So for me, it's continuing to help my clients, continuing to add value to my clients' lives, continue to inspire and impact people with the speaking and the work that I do. And at the same time, how can I grow my business? How can I continue to touch more lives? And that for me in the future is podcasting, is a book. And who knows? Who knows what God has in store for me? I am just open to the digital downloads, understanding that each season may be different and moving forward.
There's a reason I asked that question, because when we're talking about storytelling, and storytelling is the evolution of one's life. And I think that when you do story and you understand story the way I do, and I'm totally hearing the way you do, is one of the things that it does is it frees you up for more. Mm-hmm. And the reason it frees you up for more is because you get to understand that the story is the food that creates the content. The story is the food that creates the gifts that you give to your client. The story is the food that gives you the tools for the transformations that you're called to make in the world. The stories that you live are the preparing you for the next chapter in your journey. So what ends up happening is you go into life a little bit, I want to say, fearless. Mm-hmm. And I mean fearless because you understand that the challenge is going to create you as better. The challenge, whatever the next chapter brings, is going to create the next book. The challenge, however it disrupts you, is going to create the next program. It is the lived life experiences that give you the tools, the resources, the content for more. And so as I ask you that, I already know you're like, I'm going where I'm taken, and I'm going to pull some good stuff from that.
Absolutely. Like I know, of course, we have our goals. So I have the goals that I want to achieve by the end of this year and goals that I want to achieve over the course of the next few years. But I also know that God has a bigger plan for me, right? Yeah. I know that, and each one of you guys that's listening to this, you are here on this earth for a reason, for a purpose. And whether you know it or not, it's there. It is there. And it's up to you to really move towards it. Listen to it. Allow yourself to be called by it. Allow yourself to not let fear, let faith be your guiding force. faith over
Absolutely.
fear, right? Let's make sure that that is what's keeping you steadfast and moving forward, in spite of any challenges that may show up. Because again, those challenges, to your point, Suzanne, those challenges are going to be part of your walk. Those challenges are going to be part of your story. Those challenges are going to be part of your future book or whatever it is that you've been called to put out into this world.
Mhm.
But each day you have the power to stay resilient and to move through it, and to inspire, impact, and help people along the way.
And I love the fact that you brought up purpose, because the key thing about purpose is oftentimes I joke because I say, because people are like, I'm searching for my purpose, and they're standing still, hands in the air, like it's gonna download. And what I say to them is, purpose happens while you're moving.
Mhm.
Right? Purpose is revealed to you while you're in the thick of things. Purpose is found when you bump up against something that rattles you to your core,
Mhm.
and your purpose is found. It's like, this is what I'm called to do. Because you will overcome something, you will run into something, you will meet some place, someone that you are so struck, shaken, transformed by it, that you suddenly, you're like, this is why I'm here. And it's not playing safe and standing still. It's jumping into the deep end of your destination, your destiny, and saying, I'm going to play full out, because in the playing full out and the writing of my own story, purpose will arrive.
Absolutely. And that looks different for each one of us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Having
Oh,
the
yeah.
having the courage to take that step, and what that step looks like for you, only you know, right? Someone else's walk, someone else's step, we have a tendency to compare ourselves, right? We have social media, we have all these things and tools to see what's happening in other people's lives and see all the great stuff that they're doing, and our walk is our walk, right?
Yeah,
Our
absolutely.
experiences are our experiences, and knowing that you can, if courage for you is getting up out of bed and getting exercise or drinking a glass of, like, just momentum, use that momentum as a snowball that builds you up to where you want to be.
Absolutely. And it always starts in the baby steps. I think people think that it's like, I started here and I take this huge leap and I end up over there. And the beautiful thing about, I always think of story as a short movie or a long movie. And it's got different acts, it's got different chapters, and every chapter is a step forward in the creation of who you're called to be. This was amazing. This was amazing.
I love this, Suzanne. Every time that we get an opportunity to connect, it's always fruitful in terms of conversation, and always soul cleansing, soul healing in terms of what's shared. So I am so glad. I hope that you guys were also picking up what we were putting down, because this is some great fodder for.
We're getting loves, we're getting hearts, we're getting thumbs up. So we got agreement. We've got comments galore. So I'm gonna have to go back and just work my way through them. But I want everyone to really get the gist of this conversation. And part of the reason why is, as you said, before we jumped on, Rashida and I were talking about how this is, to me, this is the new office, this little box that we're living in, right? The virtual stage, if you will. And when COVID-19 started and everybody went virtual, I have been virtual for 4 years. I've been teaching and training virtually for 4 years. And so one of the things I decided to do was to teach storytelling and to show people how to craft a story, how to do and use all the stuff that you taught. And there's a way to construct it so that whatever you think is messy becomes useful and a gift to your divine client. So what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a free training that is called Magnetize and Monetize the Virtual Stage. And it really is around, how do you find any stage you want? And I tell people, a stage now is Zoom, it's Instagram, it is YouTube. We don't have to wait for platforms, but when you find and choose to use a platform, I want to ensure that you bring your best light. You position yourself with passion, purpose, and power, and you're able to tell people why you're here and what you were called to do, who you were called to serve. So in the comment section, we're going to put the link so you can get yourself registered for that training. And also pick up the cheat sheet, the note sheet that we have. So put notes in the comments section. And in the invitation, there's also a link where you can, one, get your notes, two, check in and get a one-on-one session with me, so a mindset mastery moment with me. If you want to ask me questions about what Rashida and I were talking about, if you want to find out more about magnetize and monetize the virtual stage, definitely, connect with me and do so. And register, because this is going to be juicy. Like Rashida, I could not have asked for anybody to just really talk through the power of story in such a natural way. If you want to sit in that place where you're saying, I was called to do something, I have been through some stuff, and I want to use that content to touch and inspire someone, you definitely want to look at this training. Last words. What are your last words for everyone listening? Wise young woman.
Yeah, I would say for those that are saying 2020 is over, that have thrown in the towel, COVID has shifted how they wanted to maybe start their business, launch a podcast, start attracting clients. 2020 is not over. 2020 is not over. This is a new season. We are moving into fall. Leverage this moment, leverage the energy of this moment to put yourself back on the right track. Leverage this moment to give yourself the confidence boost that you need. And whether it is, signing up for Suzanne's free resources or connecting with me, I would love to be able to help you. But whatever it is that you're doing, do it now. 2020 is still here. 2020 is not over. You still have time to achieve your goals. As long as you are breathing, as long as you are living, you have something of value to offer. So don't wait. Now is the time. Now is the time.
Now is the time. So Rashida, how can, because the comment section's blowing up. So how can someone reach out to you and connect with you if they're saying, I gotta have a further conversation with this woman?
Absolutely. You can find me on RashidaGeddes.com. Sign up for a complimentary session where we can kind of talk through some of the things that you may be challenged with at this moment, and I can share how I can help you. I'm also on social at Rashida Geddes, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You will find me there. So I'd love to connect with you and to learn more about your journey and how I can help.
Fantastic. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I have been sitting down with Rashida Geddes. My name is Suzanne Hart. This is Mindset Mastery. Make sure and pick up your free gift, register for the free training. We definitely want to see you in that virtual room, hanging out with us. I will be back here next week with another special guest. We're going to continue talking about story. We're going to talk about story, and we're going to talk about social media and storytelling and how that all works and how you can use story to connect on social media. So my guest will be none other than social media strategist, Taria Hodge. So stay tuned for that. Rashida, thank you so much. And we got to do this again. It's been too long. We're over for coffee.
Yes, we are overdue. I think that might be a year, and that I'm not even gonna say it. Year and some change.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, be blessed. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you back here next week.
Bye, everyone. Take care.